People in India have these systems like on their patios. They have these gas hose valves running through their windows into their kitchens, and they use the methane gas to run stoves. And they also have some very small water heaters that they can run off of methane. I studied abroad this past summer in India, and I did an experiment with paper waste. So we took newspaper and we put them in a biogas digester, and that was converted then to methane gas. Everybody talked about how great this technology was, and it was transforming lives of rural farmers. And so I started thinking when I was there about practical applications for this in the United States. And I found that there were a lot of companies doing this with agricultural waste in rural settings, but nothing in an urban environment.
It certainly is worthwhile because it could save the use of natural gas. It's a good replacement to use in stoves, ovens, any place where natural gas has an advantage.
But if you think about it, we put our trash in a garbage can, it goes to the landfill, and then they collect the energy and they bring the energy back. And to me, it would make a lot more sense to just use it on site. When you put food and paper waste into the tank, it basically decomposes and it produces methane gas as well as water, and then there's kind of like a sludgy residue left over. The tank itself is actually at my aunt's house in Maryland, and all the other parts are currently in my apartment. I'm really just, for now, looking to install it somewhere, get data, and get feedback about how the system is run.
It's potentially explosive, and you do need to ensure that you have a safe process.
Even though methane is flammable, you take a risk every time you go to a gas station, but you obviously need to get gas for your car. And I think when you're comparing methane to something like that, methane is much safer. It's just not as widely used, so people don't know that much about it.
There is, both a kind of an upside and downside about being new in society. And the upside is lots of attention, right? And some people think you're on the cutting edge. The downside is some people think you might be too far out on the edge.
What I'm hoping to do is, over the next couple months, assemble a pilot project somewhere here in DC, and then from there hopefully expand to a few other businesses and large institutions that produce a lot of food waste. This is a huge growing trend, and I think what technology was to the 90s, environmentalism and green energy is going to be our generation's big thing.